All right, family, it's your brother Asad, and we are back again with another quick video. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so that you'll be notified when we drop new content. Also, in terms of housekeeping, I got to make sure I give a special shout out to my South African family for all the love you guys have shown this channel, my family, my children, my wife, and we really appreciate it. And yeah, just thank you guys so much. And to all of the other supporters of this channel, we definitely thank you and appreciate it. So now I want to start this interview off with a quick story. Maybe about November, I saw two videos. One video was by a sister named Ashley in Africa, and we actually had her on this channel. We interviewed her, and she was actually reacting to a video done by our current guest, Mr. Julian. And in that video, she was saying, I believe the title of your video was, "I don't feel black in South Africa."
South Africa, yeah. I just feel human.
I just feel human, right? And she was reacting to that, basically, you know, confirming what you were saying. So one night I'm watching this, it's about 11 o'clock in New Orleans, where I was at that time. And I said, man, I know exactly the feeling that they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So I made this video where I'm just sitting down talking maybe for about 20 minutes about not feeling black in South Africa. And I woke up the next morning, they had like 5,000 views or something crazy. Like,
wow.
Yeah. And I was like, what? Because I was getting 200 views. And I used to get excited. Man, I got 200 views. You see this? And so, but it was because of your video, the reaction to, I don't know if somebody picked it up and shared it. I don't know what happened, but it's from that point that this channel really picked up. So I really owe you a debt of gratitude, you and Ashley, you know, for making those videos and inspiring that video, man. So, but yeah, so we jump right into that. I want to say, man, listen, first of all, you are such an inspiration, brother. You know, because believe it or not, we were watching you when you were in Mexico.
Dang, no way, for real.
Real talk, because just watching people, African Americans, leaving the United States, having the wherewithal and the gumption to get up and say, I don't want to be in the US no more. I want to see what this world has to offer. We were watching, so we were watching you in Mexico, and then my wife came in one day, she was like, Julian is in South Africa. I said, girl, I know you lying.
I was like, you know what, I think it's time for me to take on Africa. So I started with SA.
Yeah. So tell us, how did you go from living in the US to traveling to all of these great places?
Okay, well, I think the idea really like started to form in 2020. You know, I was at home like everybody else. And at that time I was selling real estate full time, which was cool, but it wasn't like fulfilling. Like I didn't feel fulfilled. It just became like a job, you know? So I'm at home in North Carolina. That's where I was at before I left. Real estate agents were considered essential workers. So we were still able to work, but we couldn't like meet clients in person. So basically I was still at home making money, selling houses. So that's when I had the moment, like, I can do this anywhere. Like I don't need to be, you know, necessarily in North Carolina to do this. So 6 months, I set a plan. I continued to like build my clientele, and I set my goal to leave January 2021. And initially I was telling everyone back home, like, I'm going to South Africa, I'm going to South Africa. And then as it got closer and closer to January, I'm like, whoo, I'm getting a little scared. That's really far. So I'm like, let me try Mexico first. You know, it's far enough to be out of the US, but if things go wrong, I can go back home quickly, you know? So yeah, I went to Mexico. I went to Merida, Mexico for 5 months by myself, solo. Had a good time, but after 5 months, I realized, okay, yeah, I can go a little further. So then I went to Brazil for 1 month, which was cool, but it still wasn't. I don't know. I felt like I was looking for somewhere where I felt like at home, because I didn't even have that feeling in the U.S. I always felt out of place. So I didn't really feel that in Mexico. People were nice and welcoming, you know, but I just didn't feel connected. Didn't feel that in Brazil. And it wasn't until I got to South Africa where like that was the first time I just didn't miss like actual home. I didn't want to go home at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the feeling, man. So
Yeah.
what was the first city you landed in SA?
I went to Joburg first. I did 3 months in Joburg.
Yeah, so tell us about that.
Let's see. Ooh, that seems so that was a minute ago.
Because you went to
I
Rwanda
mean,
in between, right?
yeah, because you know I'm on a visa, so I had to do a visa run. So I'm like, let me just go to Rwanda. So I did 3 months in Joburg, and I felt like as soon as I touched like South African soil, it just seemed like blessings just started coming, like opportunities. Just I was meeting the right people, things like really took off. And for me, that's when my channel went from like I landed, I think July 23rd, I had like 5,000 subscribers. By the that was yeah, July 23rd. By like end of August, I had like 25,000 subscribers. Just
Wow.
blew up. Yeah, it just blew up. And like things have been taking off ever since then.
So you know you don't follow none of the rules though, right? They say you're supposed to
What you mean?
they say you're supposed to upload consistently, maybe 2-3 times a week. Man, Julian upload once a
Yeah.
month and get like 30,000 views. How you
Look,
breaking
look.
all the rules?
It's so hard. It's so hard. I put a lot of effort into my videos, like a lot of effort. So it's real. I can't do videos every day. And then, you know, like I'm trying to live here. So there are days where I don't do anything, you know?
Yeah.
So there's nothing to record. So I gotta like actually do stuff to have content.
So
Yeah.
so so you're in Johannesburg. This is your first time on the continent, I imagine.
Mm.
So
Yeah, first time.
what does that feel like that you know, a lot of people say they get a sense of like that return feeling like, man, I I've never been here, but I know that I have been here before. Did you get any
Mm.
sense?
I don't know if I felt like I had been here before, but it was a feeling of like I just felt welcome. And I think it was also like, you know, South Africans, I feel like once they find out you're like American or pretty much anywhere outside of South Africa, you know, they always say like, welcome home, welcome home, welcome home. So I
Yeah,
just kept hearing that all the time. And it made me feel good inside. Like it made me feel really good.
yeah. So um let's talk about this. Let's talk about the people, man. How have the people
Hmm.
been treating you since you've been there?
Man, the people here are just like beyond nice. Like so nice. It made me started to, you know, just like think about how we treat each other back in the US. And I'm
Yeah,
just like, dang, Americans can be kind of mean compared to like over here. Like people do things just out of like kind and concern. Whereas like back home, like some of the, you know, things people do here, we would have to tip for that kind of service. And people just doing it out of their heart.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
You know, I
yeah, I love it.
I was talking to somebody and they were saying like when they ask you how are you doing, they really want to know how are you doing. You know, it's not like a just a random question
Yeah.
that they're asking. So finish telling me about Joburg when you were there. How you were there for 3 months?
Let me 3 months. Joburg was crazy. Honestly, Joburg was a blur. I felt like for the entire 3 months, it was just nonstop. And this is in the middle of the pandemic as well, but it's just always something to do. It's really like the New York of
Yeah,
South Africa. Like it just never sleeps. So I just felt like I was always out. I look back at some of my like earlier videos. I was basically partying. All of those videos in Johannesburg were just me partying.
yeah.
So yeah, that kind of wraps up my experience in Joburg. But I met some really, really good people, like genuine friends that I plan to stay in touch with for a long time.
All right, so then you leave and you go to let's touch on the Rwanda trip though. So you leave and you go to Rwanda now. How was that? And then can
Yeah.
you compare it and contrast it with SA?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Rwanda was so spontaneous, last minute. Like I've been traveling now for over a year, but I'm just not good at planning. So like when they get closer, like towards the end of the visa, I'm just like, oh shoot, I haven't really planned out my next step yet. So I was looking at other African countries where I didn't need a visa, and that's basically how I chose Rwanda. So I went there. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me book a flight. I'm going to Rwanda. So I went to Rwanda. It was different. It was definitely different. I felt like in Rwanda, I just got a lot of stares. At first, I was uncomfortable. I would get anxiety going out in public because people just stare and they stare and they like, when you like somebody staring at you, then you make eye contact. Usually they break it, but no, they just keep staring. They just
Yeah.
keep staring. So it was some adjusting, but the people were actually nice. But I don't know. I also felt, I don't know. I felt bored. I didn't want to say that, but I was bored in Rwanda. There wasn't many things to do compared to like Joburg.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was a much more like laid back vibe.
so then you come back to SA and you go to Cape Town. So now how long have you been in Cape Town?
Whew. So yeah, I left Rwanda. And actually when I left Rwanda, I was gonna go to Kenya. Had got my visa. I was being proactive that time. It got approved. But before I left South Africa, someone told me that in order for me to come back on a tourist visa, I needed to go to my home country first.
Mhm.
So I was just running with that information. Long story short, it wasn't true. So when I found out that I could come back to SA, I was like, oh man, Kenya gonna have to wait. I'm going back to SA. So yeah, I booked the flight and came to Cape Town. And I've been here since I think November 23rd. So almost 3 months. Yeah, almost 3 months.
So are your plans? Well, first of all, how do you like Cape Town? How is that for you? And then
Oh,
compare
I
that to
love.
Josie.
I mean, yeah, they're two different vibes. It's like, I don't know if for like Westerners watching, maybe like New York to Cali, like just different,
Yeah.
like different like cultures. Like Joburg is more like hustle, you go to network and grind. Here is just like the soft life, just relax, vacay vibes. But here, like I like going outdoors. Like it's so pretty here.
Man, Table
I just
Mountain.
always want to be outside. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
everywhere you look, it's just beautiful views.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
are you planning to stay in Cape Town or are you planning to stay in SA period or are you just there for?
I don't even know. I got like a week and a half to make a decision, but I think I don't know. I've been for total almost 6 months in SA, so I think I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm
Okay.
still waiting to get my visa for Nigeria. That's gonna take a couple weeks, but I think I'm gonna go somewhere in the interim. I might go to Kenya since I already have that visa.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So what are some things that stand out about SA to you? Like maybe compare it to you're from North Carolina?
Well, from Chicago, but I was raised in North Carolina.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
what part of North Carolina?
Charlotte.
Charlotte? Okay, so how
Yeah.
would you compare man, that's crazy, man. There's a brother named Denzel who is
Mhm.
from South Africa and he's living in Charlotte. He's one of the guys who follows this
Oh
channel
wow.
pretty often.
That's cool. That's cool.
Matter of fact, we're supposed to link up because we're going to be in SA at the same time in March. But
Oh, nice.
so he compared Charlotte and said it was kind of like the Josie of maybe North Carolina. I don't know if that's the exact comparison, but what do you think?
Yeah, that's a stretch. That's a stretch. I mean, you just can't even compare the two. That's like comparing a Kia to a Ferrari. You just can't do that. But I mean, yeah, North Carolina is cool. I was raised there, but I feel like it's just one of those cities that we moved there like when I was young from Chicago, like in the 90s. And even then, it was like titled as the up and coming city of the South. Up and coming. That was in the 90s. It's 2022 and they still up and coming. So I just didn't see like much opportunities for what I wanted to do there. Like
Yeah,
people that work in banking, in finance world, that's the place to be, but that's not me.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so when you look at Johannesburg, oh, let's go back. Let's go back. You had never been to
Okay.
Africa before, right?
Mhm,
What were
mhm.
your thoughts and impressions of Africa prior to getting there?
Mm, well, I feel like overall, my only like real concern about Africa, the continent, was me traveling alone and being gay. That
Yeah,
was my only like I wasn't like that concerned, like nervous about it, but it wasn't a concern. Like I had to be realistic. So, but I knew South Africa was like even more progressive than the US with like gay rights. So that's why I started with South Africa. And I did my research, so I wasn't like too shocked because I feel like, especially in Joburg, like the cultures are very similar to a lot of like big cities in the US.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that much of like life adjustment or culture shock. I just kind of like blended in with the culture and went with it, you know?
Yeah, cool. So you didn't have any of those preconceived notions about Africa being the jungle or anything like that?
No. You know, the internet's been around since the 90s. So, and YouTube been around for what, 10 plus years. So now I've seen many like videos. I mean, and just like, I'm pretty sure every Black American that has come to SA seen like, you know, the Real South Africa YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So I saw lots and lots of their videos before I came. So I knew what kind of like life was, you know, happening over here.
Okay, cool. How old are you?
I'm 29.
29. See, I think it's a generational thing too, because you kind of grew up with the internet. Access to it. I'm 43. I remember when I was in high school and yahoo.com first came out, like when it first came out. Think about that. So we had encyclopedias, man. You know, we had encyclopedias and like public access TV that would kind of show like people going to safari, and that was, you know, I always say Sally Smothers. Do you know who Sally Smothers is?
Nah, no idea. What's that?
Okay, back in the day, there used to be this commercial with this lady. She was an actress. Her name was Sally Smothers, and this is during the famine in Ethiopia, and she'd be walking around like this village in Ethiopia, and with a little baby, and the baby got snot on his nose, flies all around him, glass and trash everywhere, and she'd be like, "Look at how this baby." She walking holding the baby's hand, like, "Look at how this baby lives. Please send $1 a day, and this child can live and eat." And I'm like, "Well,
I think I've seen those commercials.
Why you don't pick this baby up? If it got glasses, pick this baby up so the baby feet don't get all cut up." But so that was the images that we saw as children. You know what I'm saying? So so I think it's a generational thing. I definitely think it's a generational.
Same. I think even with me growing up, I saw those same kind of commercials. And what I, you know, realized, like looking back at it, I feel like they, you know, replay those type of like Feed the Africa commercials a lot on like kids networks. Like, you know, as a child, I'm watching like Cartoon Network and Disney Channel, and those are always the commercials. So I feel like they try to brainwash us at a young age to make us view Africa differently.
Man, you're absolutely right. I have a 11-year-old, right? And he's in school, and he's telling, you know, his classmates that he's moving to Africa. And the first thing that they say is, "Oh, you know, it's the jungle, you know, whatever have you." This is 11 years old. This is people who grew up. I mean, 11, you know, they have the internet, right? You know, their parents. Right. So it is that type of propaganda that children are still getting from somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I think, you know, things like YouTube and social media and people traveling, it's, you know, opening eyes and awareness.
Well, it's people like yourself, man, going there. Like, so when it's somebody watching your video, like, "Dang, I didn't know SA was like that. I didn't know Johannesburg. I didn't know Kigali was like that." You know, somebody's going to watch it and be like, "Yeah, I got to go check out these places, man." But man, I don't want to hold you, man. I know you're a busy brother, man. So any parting words for the people?
Let's see. What are my parting words? You put me on the spot. Let me see. You know, don't let other people, don't like let them project their fears onto you. There's something that you want to do and you have your mindset on it, just do it, you know? And I'm speaking from experience, because if, you know, when I told people I was traveling, even Mexico, then coming to Africa, they're like, "Oh, you going from the mafia to the dangerous tribal men, like you're gonna die." So just, you know, stick with your instinct and do what you want to do.
Now, how was that zebra?
Man, that's funny you say that. The actual taste was good. They seasoned it well, but my stomach was like in knots for like a week. I would never eat that again. Like my body was like, "Nah, you can't do that."
This ain't what you thought it was. Your body said, "I'm eating beef and then to realize it was Zebra, man. That's crazy, man. Well, definitely, man. Thank you so much. I know my wife is upset that she missed this this interview.
I know. I really wanted to meet her. I really did. I was looking forward to that.
Look, she turned me on. She turned me on to your channel. She's like the YouTube person that goes through and finds all of the, like when we first went in 2019, we had this we were just absorbing as much material and content about SA as we could. So we started off with watching the Blantons, but then it was a few other people we found, a sister who was doing rural stuff, like rural houses that she was selling. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I follow her.
Yeah. And then
I forgot her name.
There's a sister that I thought you might have hooked up with already. She's a young sister, maybe about 22, 23. She's a model.
Oh yeah, Taylor.
Yeah. I figured you guys would be vibing, you know, because I think she's out in Cape Town.
The first day, literally the first day I landed in Cape Town from Rwanda, I went to the waterfront mall to pick up a jacket because it was cold. And as I'm walking into the mall, into the door, like, guess who's right in front of me? It was Taylor.
Wow.
Yeah, we met the first day I got here.
So y'all cool? Y'all know each other well then now?
No, not really. That was it. We had an interaction then, and that was it. No, I'm really like an introvert. I stay to myself a lot. I really do.
Dig that, man. Well, yeah, man. But the stuff that you're doing, man, we appreciate it because you are opening up the minds and the eyes of so many people who are watching and who are thinking, man, I want to go. Should I? Could I? And they see Julian Albino and they're like, I could do it. I could.
Right. That's like the way I can do it. Pretty much anybody can do it.
not to downplay, but I'm saying that's how people look at it. They're like, if he can go, I can go. If he has the courage to do it, I can. And the same thing that we did when we were looking at the Blantons. We would look at the Blantons and be like, man, if they can go, if they can up and move, then we can up and move too. And so we put our plan into motion. So, man, but anyway, I don't want to hold you, brother. Thank you so much for this interview, taking the time to speak with me. And man, best of luck to you, man. And I hope you do make SA your home, man. And if so, when we get we're supposed to be there in June. If you're there in June, we gotta link up.
Absolutely. I want to meet you guys. Definitely. Thank you for having me.
Man, thank you for being here, brother. You have a great one.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.